Are we recording? Hi.
Hi, will you teach me how to learn Xactimate?
I want to win. Yeah.
Stupid.
Come on, you adorable computer, you please work your magic. There we go.
Remember, tell people how pitiful your life was before Xactimate.
You guys can handle it.
What would you say you do here?
I'm so scared you're about to hear.
We're kicking off a series.
What we uncovered.
Kicking off a series.
Xactimate Sessions.
Kicking off a series on Xactimate.
No! God, please, no!
Xactimate Sessions.
No!
Most of you are probably familiar with my book,
No!
Be Intentional Estimating.
No!
Developing the right mindset and habits.
Mindset and habits.
Esteemed, revered book.
Mindset and habits.
No!
In this series,
Xactimate.
No!
we're going to discuss learning Xactimate from nothing with someone I trained, a good friend of mine, Greg Power. What you feel is like a good, solid estimate that's very detailed against somebody that just spaghetti, right? They just took all the line items and Xactimate reviews with Chris Tilkov from Ask Amy.
You were looking at the most likely high impact items.
Xactimate from Xactimate, Brian Austin, Director of Instructional Design at Verist Xactware Division.
We did a lot of research on just what are people searching on Google around Xactimate. And then we started building expert tips on those topics.
We are going into the unknown with Xactimate.
No!
Xactimate and Adjusters with Matthew Allen from Adjuster TV.
So at Adjuster TV, what we try to do is we're trying to elevate our side of the industry, which I think, ultimately, like what you're doing together, we could probably try to elevate both sides of things.
Xactimate for mitigation with Nick Sharp from REITs. Are you there? I think most of that cut out.
Dang it!
Xactimate customization with Ben Justinson, Enlightened Restoration Solutions. I'm here after day one with Ben, Enlightened Restoration Solutions. He won't let me approach the podium because you can't see it on the floor, but there's a tape, no one approaches Ben zone. And then also Xactimate for managers, discussing how you train and disseminate that information with Joyce Gabriel. So,
we're going to start from, either the top down or the bottom up. If we're talking subfloor, underlayment, vinyl, baseboard, walls, insulation. And I'll ask them a question rather than telling them, what's behind that wall?
These stories are true.
We're going to attack Xactimate from all different angles. Try to help you shorten your dang learning curve.
Dang it!
For personal and professional development. And so this is especially designed for startup phase owners and managers working to elevate their teams. So we hope you find it helpful. The DYOJO podcast, Xactimate series of series on Xactimate from the DYOJO.
What we uncovered. Xactimate Sessions.
No!
The Xactimate Sessions! Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
You guys can handle it.
Okay. Well, this is unique. Hi.
Hi, will you teach me how to learn Xactimate?
I want to win. Do you remember BX before Xactimate? You remember? Tell people how pitiful your life was before Xactimate.
To sum it up, I had to ask every customer to hold the end of the tape measure while I measured.
And beneath a man, we find his nucleus.
Nucleus?
Landscaping, actually, not interior repairs. So I came into this with vast Microsoft Word knowledge, and I knew how to read a tape measure.
If you're taking notes, the pre-qualifications to becoming a great Xactimate estimator, number one, vast Microsoft Word experience.
Vast Microsoft Word knowledge.
And I knew how to read a tape measure. Write that down. Well, even that though, I think part of, as we work together, even learning like how to gauge profitability, right? Or like, because you would previously, your estimating was, you knew what, you had a good understanding of what the time would take going into it and what your material costs were. Mm-hmm. But where you had worked previously, they hadn't really talked about profitability.
No.
Or tracking your costs or those kinds of things. So it was more, the typical contractor, right? Hold your thumb up to the wind.
Yeah. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal.
But you knew roughly what your competitors' prices were, right?
Yeah.
You knew how to gauge whether you were high or low.
Yeah. Yeah. And that the only way I knew how to do that, or the only way I had that information, was I'd point blank ask the customer, have you already gotten a bid?
Yeah.
What'd they charge you?
Yeah.
Or what did they bid? And you do that enough times, and then you actually do some reconnaissance and pretend like you're a customer, honestly.
Yeah.
And when you're first starting out or you're working for a mom and pop, I would call and pretend to be a customer just to get a sense of how much is this person charging for X service, blah, blah, blah.
It's surprising, though, how many contractors don't ask, well, oh, you got another bid. What did they bid?
Yeah. I mean, what I've found, though, even now, a couple of years into my career in restoration, some clients aren't comfortable giving that information. Yeah. And honestly, to me, that's kind of a red flag. Just for me, I feel like I'm getting shopped at that point, and then my tri-meter goes down.
Well, explain that more. So that's you have a better idea that they're just trying to get. Did I tell you this? I went to a job the other day. The guy had stacks of paper of scopes that he had written up.
Man.
And he goes, this is, you're going to need to have linear footage and square footage quantities. I'm like, yeah. Oh, really? Wow. Don't you just love the customer that's like, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. I have been online. I've been studying extensively. And in order for you to do your job, this is what you're going to need to do. My brother, he's a contractor. Okay. I had an uncle one time that watched Mike Holmes Do It Right TV.
That's what the insurance company is gonna want.
Yeah,
okay. And I was like, so I got this.
I got the side-tail machine right here.
I got these handouts that you're giving. How many contractors have you called? He's like, you're the 9th one. And I was like, oh. I said, well, I'm going to make this real easy for you. Out of the other 8 you've already talked to, I'm sure you'll find one that's very reputable and will help you.
Yeah. So. Those customers that are honest like that, it's thank you.
Yeah.
And I think it boils down to anyone could beat anyone's scope if it is an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, the way you taught me how to write, the thoroughness is going to just blast past.
Yeah.
Whoever, whatever, it doesn't matter who wrote it.
Yeah. Some of what Greg is talking about is addressed in this penultimate book written by a mediocre author, John Xacitmate. Be Intentional Estimating, available in paperback and Kindle through Amazon books or directly from the website, thedyojo.com/book1. Chapter 17 talks about habits of Xactimate estimating proficiency. And I would direct the reader's attention to page 146 and 147. This is not a book about how to write an Xactimate, but more mindset and habits, whether you're learning Xactimate, training others, or improving your estimating. But talking about headers, so you got like prep items, walls and ceilings, trim and paint, floors, and cleaning. And just a way of always categorizing your scope of work from top to bottom, ceilings, walls, floors, and those things in between. If you structure your estimate to write it as an estimator, write it in the flow that people will do the work.
Not actually knowing how something is done.
It's really hard.
Ben from Enlightened Restoration Solutions and Just Right Construction and Cleaning out of Moses Lake, Washington. You can't just barge into our podcast.
There's a couple things I would say they need to do to learn. One, go out there occasionally and see how it's done.
Visit a site. Yeah.
Well, I guess since you're here and you are the Xactimate training guru, why don't you enlighten us?
Knowing how to do something instead of just assuming Xactimate's right and diving into the details of Xactimate.
There you have it, celebrity cameos. Take it home, Ben. We're talking here with Greg about, what it takes to learn Xactimate from the ground up, having no prior experience. What's just a word of wisdom you would give to, the aspiring estimators, project managers, maybe managers who have to train estimators, owners? Lay it on us, buddy.
And what we're really driving towards is making an estimate that has no fluff. Everything is legitimate, and you can document and prove it.
Beautiful. Any last words?
So, we're really trying to make restoration fun again.
Then your document can go from estimating to approval to production to supplements and change orders, because if it's written in the same way, I think it is possible as an estimator to set yourself apart by having that kind of structure. Oh, this is a John Isaacson estimate. This is a Aries restoration estimate. So as an estimator, understanding your role in the chain of events for production, if you provide your team with better details, then we can minimize scope creep and increase our efficiency. And so so that's some of what. Well, let's get back to what Greg's talking about. Be Intentional Estimating, available in paperback and Kindle through Amazon books or directly from the website thedyojo.com/book1. Yeah.
It's going to be more organized. It's going to include a vast number of things it actually takes to get the job done. So
we're skipping ahead a little bit, but how frustrating is it though? It's hardly ever apples to apples, because you're writing what you feel is like a good solid estimate that's very detailed against somebody that just spaghetti, right? They just took all the line items and just went bloop.
Yeah.
Even adjusters and whatnot. So, okay, so do you remember your first introduction? And by way of full disclosure, it's not like we had a lot of time to sit down and train.
No, not at all. The first one, luckily it wasn't program.
Just to interrupt for a minute, industry speak. So, not in insurance claim repairs, program work is something like Contractor Connections or Alacrity, Cedric, those kinds of things, where there is the insurance company sends the assignment to a third party administrator, a TPA. The TPA then sends that to their Rolodex of approved vendors. So it's typically a way that some contractors try to get higher volume of work. It's kind of in my opinion, a quantity over quality mindset. Not bashing at all. We have done a video on how to play the game of TPA that I think you would find helpful if this is something that you're pursuing or engaged in. It's one way to approach the industry. Personally, for us, we do currently some level of program work, but we're trying to keep it at 50% or less of our overall revenue. And so it's a strategy. So non-program work would be getting the work directly from the insurance company, from the consumer, referrals from plumbers, those kinds of things, where it's not coming through that third party that reviews and regulates how you follow the guidelines for the carrier.
Not finished yet. Gotta be kidding. There's more.
It's your favorite time, DYOJO podcast ad break.
But it's all about having the dialogue. So if there's one dialogue that you should spend more than 15 minutes on,
I'm going to call David Princeton, Advocate Claim Service. Ring, ring, ring.
The way I kind of like to say this, you might save 15% in 15 minutes, but you're probably going to spend 30 to 40 grand because of it.
Yeah.
It's that conversation with your insurance broker. Have the conversation. If you are buying insurance for your business by pointing and clicking through an internet web interface.
Come on, you adorable computer, please work your magic. There we go.
Stop.
Stop it.
Stop.
Get some help.
At the time of loss, it's not going to come out where that 15% is going to cover anything you're now absorbing. Stop.
Well, you want to make sure asking to compare apples to apples, right? It's cheaper. Always ask the question why.
And it's not so much that it's even apples to apples, right? You can have a lot of different variations of apples.
Yeah.
It's about knowing what you need for the recipe. Stop. Find a local agent that knows about business risks and buy it through them.
Can I talk to David Princeton?
You got him. Have the conversation.
David Princeton, Advocate Claim Service, ACS for short, insurance nerd. What are your top 3 tips for property restoration contractors with regards to insurance?
Number 1, most likely if it's on your scope of work and you're self-performing it, it's not covered by your general liability policy.
Insurance nerd.
Number 2, know what you're signing in your own contracts or in contracts with other contractors.
What is this, amateur hour?
Number 3, ask about coverage enhancing endorsements.
Insurance nerd.
Advocate Claim Service.
David, we've got a problem over here.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do with that?
Bespoke advocacy. So, bespoke advocacy.
You know what, John? It sounds like you got to get to the root cause, which is probably in your culture. Read this book, Be Intentional Culture? It's bespoke. Bespoke
advocacy. So what is bespoke advocacy?
It's a custom tailored solution to what the problems are that you're facing.
Boom.
When it feels like the adjuster isn't working on your behalf and you need to take the anxiety out of claims, that's when you need Advocate Claim Service.
David Princeton, Advocate Claim Service. If I want to take the anxiety out of my claim, who should I call?
Advocate Claim Service.
Advocate Claim Service.
Take the anxiety out of claims. Advocate Claim Service.
No more anxiety with claims.
And now we return to our regularly scheduled program.
I'll be back.
But I remember, actually, no, it was program. It was an upstairs home in Seattle.
Oh, jeez.
It was a wind-driven rain, and water had gotten into the sliding glass door, and there was odd angles. There was a spiral staircase in there. Nothing was square.
Yeah.
And there was some hardwood floor damage, base.
So you're persistent. It's like
siding, sliding glass door, drywall, and paint.
Did you have to sketch the Millennium Falcon?
Yes, I did. I remember. I remember the sketch for a small master bedroom, a closet, and a hallway. I think I stayed that night until 8 p.m. And then you were like, "Hey, can you move over? We gotta go." My son is with me. We have to go home now. That was my first interaction. I mean, and then after that, it was. I think that's what the path was. I started sketching things for you.
Yeah.
And then that quickly progressed into, "Hey, I need you to just wing this one and let me review it."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's honestly, I don't think I think that's the best way for me.
Rather than interrupt extensively right here, I'm going to inform you that at the end of this interview, we're going to have a discussion about sketching tools and sketching approaches, because I think that would be helpful at this juncture. Unfortunately, we did not, the organization we worked for did not allow us to ease into program work. So it was...
You guys can handle it.
Yeah, it was all... I mean, literally, the question was, how many a week can you handle? I was like, I think we can handle about 3. And they're like, good, we'll sign you up for 7.
You guys can handle it. Yeah.
And then we were getting comparative estimates and all the gutterball stuff.
Yeah, you guys can handle it.
That you get when you're starting up. But so, I would say tip number 1 for somebody, because this is aimed at like people that are learning Xactimate, is don't take it personal, right? You are, at least externally, are very good at like, okay.
Yeah, you guys can handle it.
And I think I tried, it was stern, right? But it was never like, you're a
right.
But it was
I did that on my own off the clock.
Yeah.
Stupid. You guys can handle it. So, I think that's a trait that's helpful, honestly, if you're going to be in this industry.
Beep boop, beep boop. If you're taking notes, and I know you are while you're driving, listening to the most mediocre podcast in the industry, don't take it personal. And then also, if you're a manager, try not to make it personal.
But for an industry where you're getting beat up, I don't mean literally beat up, but...
I mean, you're computer savvy, so that obviously helped.
Yeah.
I think the willingness to receive criticism and feedback, and then try. I think that's the biggest thing, is you're going to make mistakes. Try not to make the same mistakes over and over again. That happened. Yeah. Stupid. It's not 100% intuitive. Once you get into it, you kind of start to get it, the naming conventions and whatever.
Yeah.
I had fairly recently learned to memorize line items, so I encourage you to do that from the start.
Yeah.
I think that helped you.
Yep. Going to a job site, and when you're doing the sketch, on the side you're making your notes, and I would just make my notes in Xactimate code, like DRY, LF, EF, and then I'd go that even down to the measurement.
Yeah.
And doing that over and over helped. But to be honest with you, I have gotten to a point where I've written enough scenarios that I can duplicate an estimate and cut out the formatting, because that takes time.
Yep.
You cut out the formatting, but you have to make sure you hit every line item that has an F9 note, change the F9, and then adjust your measurements from there. And clearly you're going to have to redo the sketch.
Yeah.
But I mean,
70 to 80% are copy paste, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Be Intentional Estimating, available in paperback and Kindle through Amazon books, or directly from the website thedyojo.com/book 1. Okay, so this is unique. So we're going to take this. Let me do a drink of this. Gross drink. No, it's fine. Okay, so... Well, how's that for a kickoff to... How's that for a kickoff to a series? Ha! Yeah! So, anyways, always a good time. I was recently on IAQ Radio, and a huge honor. And if you do not listen to IAQ Radio, I strongly recommend it. I shared on there. I feel like we're the junior high. The DYOJO podcast is junior high in the sense of like trying to help people shorten their dang learning curve. And IAQ is a very high level college. You know, you got people that have been there, done that. And so they're asking, well, what's the key to reaching out to young people? And I want to make very clear, I don't profess to speak for anybody other than myself. And really, the only thing I try to do is make videos that I would want to watch. And sometimes I succeed at that, and sometimes like yourselves, I'm like, ugh, oh, cringe. And I just want to wear this mask and run away. But I'm not running away. And we won't run away from the hard topics. So that's the official wrap to File 1, Case Number 1 in the Xactimate Sessions from the DYOJO podcast. So hopefully that didn't scare you too much, but really helped you realize if Greg can do it, anyone can do it. Sorry, Greg. No, I would say that to his face. Actually, he has been a pleasure to work with and someone that really had to learn on the fly. So owners, managers, give yourself a break, but be intentional. And also you aspiring property restoration professionals, understand, you know, just like you're busy, your managers, owners, they're busy. And in spite of sometimes our best intentions, sometimes it can be difficult to make things happen. So we got to work together. And a lot of it, you'll have to, at least in my experience, you have to piece it together. You know, try to take what you can from this person and this person. Try to make sure you're getting good information from good sources. Hopefully we can be help you shorten your learning curve, your dang learning curve in deciphering that information. So as promised earlier, we've got a little extra kind of snippet on sketching, which is very relevant to this topic. So thank you again to Greg Powers, for powering us up with his powerful insights. And hope you enjoyed File 001 in the Xactimate Sessions from the DYOJO podcast. We'll see you shortly for File 002. And spread the word if you think it's helpful. If not, keep doing what you're doing and don't watch or share this. Someone posed the question today in one of the socials about teaching your team members to sketch. Number one thing I think all estimators should have is a laser tape measure. So the first tool you will need is something to write on. Very good. And something to measure with. This is like the cheapest version, the Bosch Professional GLM 20. If you walk a property, take your laser measurements. Our new recruit will be using graph paper and laser tape measure. Our seasoned veteran will be using your standard tape measure and a standard notepad. There are lasers like we had a tech that had a rigid one that will import into your program. He used a Microsoft Surface.
Oh, this is just too good.
Sometimes, at least the one we were using didn't always put things to scale. To start our sketch, we want to find the furthest corner of the area that we will be sketching. Way down to the farthest wall and press the button. Is it hitting that farthest wall? What's your measurement? 31 feet, 6 inches. But for those of you that can see, this is using a sketch program called GoodNotes on an iPad with an Apple Pencil. Just hit that wall and measure all the way down. But if you take a square, right? One of these squares is, this is 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. This is going to be our corner, okay? Remember, start your corner. Always start your sketch from a corner. So these are 1/4 inch squares. That's a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. So we're going to use a 1/4 inch equals 2 feet. Okay? So if we're going 31.6, we're basically going to go 2 So 32, so we want 16 lines basically. Do you know how to count by twos? Okay, so count by twos starting here till you get to 32. So 2,
4, 6.
32.
Okay, so that's our end. Okay, so draw a line as straight as you can from there to there. Perfect. And then what I want you to write right here is 31, comma 6. So that tells us that line is 31.6. Be Intentional Estimating, available in paperback and Kindle through Amazon books or directly from the website thedyojo.com/book1. I think some of the most important things, put the door and the swing in your sketch, right? And you'll notice, for those of you that are watching, I like to use notes and colors. Like red would be where the flood cuts are, blue is where the floor was cut out. We need to measure from that corner to that corner to that corner, back to the corner that we started in. Whether you're going to be writing it yourself or you're going to be sending it to somebody to write for you, you know, you can only write based on the details you get. 7/6, you're going to go. This, love this. So we're here live at RAA 2021. We're back to in-person meetings. We're down in Florida. I was very resistant. So we're at the DocuSketch booth. This is we use this tool every day in our restoration business. It's been a godsend, you know, as far as like getting in and getting out, getting the 360-degree tours that you can provide your team as well as the adjusters. This is the Ricoh Theta 2 that we use with DocuSketch.
Yeah, based on our 3D documentation on the overnight sketch, we added scoping and estimating. So you can write a scope directly in the app, download it instantly, and based on the scope, we can help you write an estimate instantly with our estimating service.
So you got, and that puppy is a game changer. Sketch, you're gonna get the sketch in 24 hours, right. ESX, you got all your photos as comments in there, and now while you're on site, from your phone, from the power of your phone, you're writing a sketch. What's the turnaround time on the estimate? Same?
Not overnight, it's
sure.
1-2 days.
That's a lot more involved.
It helps you dramatically in catastrophe environments,
yep.
Or when you're behind with your estimates.
Yep. And that never happens.
That's right.
Yeah. And that puppy is a game changer. A discount code, DYOJO1, and that gets $200 off the initial kit, right?
Yeah.
For anybody there in DYOJO land.
What are you doing? I'm sketching, duh.
I'm sketching.
That is not sketching.
That is not a sketch.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.